Bulginaka, do you know that cybercrime is becoming a growing problem in Fiji?
Cybercrime is defined as a crime in which a computer is the object of the crime, such as hacking and spamming.
Cybercrime is also cyberbullying and using fake profiles to cause panic and spreading false news.
If you're involved in this or know anyone who's committing these crimes, report them immediately.
I'm Polly.
And I'm Peter.
We host the Traffic Jam Show on City FM.
From 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. every weekday.
Do the right thing.
In this bulletin, Pacific will forge climate solutions, says PM. PRB evicts unruly tenants. And concerns over incompetent builders.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Atera Lendua.
Pacific will not wait for events to control us. This is the message from Prime Minister Orenge Bainimarama launching the game plan for Pacific climate action through the nationally determined contributions for the next decade. Bainimarama says the Pacific welcomes solutions from everywhere but will not wait for others. The NDC lays out climate action for the Pacific, and Bainimarama says the strategy was developed through robust country consultations.
I know that the impact of the combined efforts of all of us represented here will have a negligible effect on the global picture. But we still must do our part for our own good, and we still must lead by example. The large emitters are coming along slowly. We need to push them to do more and to do it quickly.
Convicted felon Benjamin Padarth has been released on bail by the Ba Magistrates Court this morning. Padarth is charged with sedition, attempting to defeat the course of justice, destroying evidence, and disobedience of lawful order. He has been released on a $1,000 bail bond with sureties on the same sum. A stop departure has been issued against him, and Padarth has been ordered to surrender his travel documents. He's been ordered not to reoffend and not to interfere with witnesses. The matter will be called in the Lautoka Magistrates Court on May 19th. Several members of the Construction Industry Council have raised concerns regarding the incompetence of some builders. CIC President Gordon Jenkins says they've noticed that some contractors are not doing an honest job, affecting the quality and duration of certain developments or projects.
There's several bad apples around, and they're really affecting a whole lot of very, very straight up and down and honest contractors. And I don't begrudge anybody making a profit out of something, but I do begrudge people spoiling it for everybody else.
Public rental board tenants involved in a stabbing incident in Mead Road, Nambour earlier this year have been issued eviction notices. Acting General Manager Patrick Veo says some tenants who refuse to vacate have been referred to PRB solicitors for eviction through the High Court. Veo says there are only a few tenants disregarding the tenancy agreement, which is painting a bad image of the PRB Mead Road estate. The PRB says it will continue to educate tenants to respect the law, but they will evict those who are in breach. The Fiji New Caledonia e-trade expo launched in Suva yesterday stands to benefit businesses in both countries and provides opportunities to explore new markets. Minister for Trade Fayaz Koya says the expo is one of the many initiatives to develop bilateral relations and enhance partnerships. He also stressed the need for both countries to further explore discussions on a bilateral trade agreement that has been initiated.
Fijian government has actually set the path to create a sustainable economy, an economy which is able to accommodate a dynamic private sector and investors, facilitate capital and new technology, and to support diversification into new sectors which feed into the global value chain.
You can be assured of the support of the French government to this initiative. You also have the chance to connect together.
A group of young people has taken the initiative to help rid Fiji of corruption. After receiving over $13,000 from the U.S. Embassy yesterday, Integrity Fiji says it wants to get Fiji back on track in terms of corruption rankings. Board Chair Chofiliti Saumbuli says they're using social media for advocacy, and while their focus is on youth, they will also engage the private sector.
The longer term for us is also working with Transparency International to look at the Corruption Perception Index, getting Fiji back into that to see our standing, our ranking, and Fiji to work better towards that as well.
Wrong referral of patients diagnosed with heart problems not only increases the burden on healthcare practitioners, but it is also concerning. This was highlighted by the Oceania Hospital interventional cardiologist Dr. Prakash Gaur. Dr. Gaur says delayed referrals can be fatal for heart patients. He adds following proper guidelines and procedures is important.
If someone who's not sufficiently ill, if you keep referring such patients to a specialist, then his workload will be very high, and which would be unnecessary. At the same time, a person who's actually suffering, who's actually sick, and is being overlooked, and the referral is delayed, then the patient is at the loss.
The Levuka Town Council in recent months has been aggressive in collecting rates owed by ratepayers. This was after the council identified that a good number of ratepayers have defaulted on their rates. Chief Executive Josese Rakwita says one of the pressing needs for the council is the maintenance and continuous upgrading of its infrastructure, and this solely depends on the rates collected. He says a good number of them have been coming forward making arrangements about their payment.
We are paying up their rates we allow them to pay on payment on installments. Because most of the rate payers are staying overseas or staying in Suva. So some of their houses here are on rent, which we are working on it with them. But it's trickling in.
A new era has come for the villagers of Naisongopao in Tailevu, as each house now have their lavatory. This after Minister for Health Dr. Remi Wangainambete handed over 17 field latrines to villagers yesterday. Before this, only 46 of the 63 houses in the village had a restroom each and had to share with the remaining families. Dr. Wangainambete says the village has achieved the ministry's goal by having 100% lavatory for each household, saying these also safeguard them from various diseases.
We can say now we are safe from many diseases, but we must remember in the future, when we build a house, it should have its toilet. We know there are challenges, and that is why we need to work together.
Up ahead, ACS steps up preparations, and Navua improves in futsal.
Oira na ngone no de nunu ena bisi ni mataka.
Mersusunga da kena romandina kena mikron.
Sakena ngau na mitaro bina no rabaksunga ika malolo mataki na ngone. Dalabina oya o meliki.
Bulre oya o Samuel Samuli.
Nama kikirau ena be mataka.
Oniti kena magrombuka.
Ni waitini kalimana miniti me ono kina tiri na kaloko. Ena radio Fiji 1 nandomo ibiti.
Inda na mataka dan ramai na singabo.
Andi Vakumbau School will want to continue where they left off during the triple end zone competition and show why they are the current defending Coca-Cola Girls Champion. ACS has held the girls' title since 2017 and will want to make this their fourth year. Team coach Antonio Ramboiliku is confident that the set of athletes they have will be able to deliver.
We have roughly a balanced team. We have a few field events and a few tracks, and most of our athletes are in the relays because we have 8 relay teams. But so far, it's good. Preparation is good, and we're just going to try and continue from where we left off during the zone.
The Navua Futsal side is on track for their Futsal Southern League Zone title defense after a convincing win in round 8 last night. The side defeated the star-studded Rewa side 6-3 last night at the FMF Gymnasium in Suva. Coach Krishnil Sharma says the win puts them in a better position as the team continues to make their way to the top.
We knew from the beginning that Rewa was the team to beat in this league. They've been performing well, and as we could have seen in the game, they had a lot of reps, national team reps that are playing. And we are a growing team, and our momentum from first game against Rewa, which we drew against them, is building. And I think the way that league is going, that we are starting to play more as a team, and thus our results are coming our way.
Middleweight fighter Ratu Rakuro Ndauni Bavana has challenged fellow opponent Abe Chand to come in ready next month because it won't be easy. Ndauni Bavana will challenge Chand for the middleweight title in the decider for the South Pacific Boxing Promotions May fight. After ending in a draw with Sebastian Singh in last month's encounter, Rakuro will this time remain. Ndauni Bavana says the hard work has been done. Training to win is the only goal that is keeping him going.
I'll be expecting a really tough fight. Probably will be the toughest fight I'll ever fought into my boxing career. So this is a much experienced fighter. So I really need to prepare well. And so far I've been doing a lot of hard training.
Crunch talks have been held yesterday between SANZA, Rugby Australia and New Zealand Rugby as planning ramps up for this year's Rugby Championship. Cloudy periods with brief showers over the eastern parts and interior of Vitilevu and Vanolevu, mainly fine elsewhere. That's FBC News now. Join us again at 7 p.m. for our major bulletin. For news you can trust, get the facts from FBC's TV, radio and digital news at fbcnews.com.fj. Take care and good afternoon.
हमारे खूबसूरत देश फिजी में चाइल्ड अब्यूज की घटनाएं आए दिन बढ़ रही है।
क्यों बच्चों का मासूम बचपन अब्यूज का शिकार हो जाता है?
अपने बच्चों की सुरक्षा का खास ख्याल रखें।
उनसे बातचीत करें, उनके दोस्तों के बारे में जानें।
आज के बच्चे देश का भविष्य है। मैं दीप्ति
और मैं मोनिश,
आपके हमसफर। शामिल हो जाए हमारे साथ मंडे टू फ्राइडे
5:45 AM से 10 AM तक
रेडियो फिजी 2 देश की धड़कन पर।